Okay folks, welcome to a Friday Waffle. Yeah, the Friday Waffle that was going to die in its arse, and it's still not dying. It refuses to die. It's like status quo. It will never ever go away. Anyway, I hope you're all looking after yourself. I mean, the weather at the moment, and I think it's UK wide, although I think possibly Scotland are getting it worse. It's bloody horrendous. We've got a storm warning. We've had just ridiculous amounts of rain. Ridiculous strong winds. I'm trying to think of the word there. Yeah, just it's absolutely shit. It's not the kind of weather you want to go out in. You know, so get yourself a nice Netflix box set. Get yourself a Chinese takeaway, some Pringles, a few beers. Sorted. So yeah, what have I been up to in the last 7 days? What have I been doing? I've been back at Cook's Soul. Actually, I wasn't feeling that great over the weekend, last weekend. I missed my Cook's Soul on Saturday, and I didn't actually manage to get along on Monday because I wasn't feeling particularly good. But yeah, it's all been fine. Sort of. That noise is outside. Gaming wise, still playing a bit of Power Wash Simulator. Not been playing much else. I did do an Arcade Perfect My Arse Return of the Jedi on Wednesday. Bloody awful game. It's terrible. It's, you know, it shouldn't even be in the same sentence as Star Wars. It was a god awful game. Obviously they thought that vector graphics was outdated and they would bring out a nice sprite based kind of Star Wars game, and it's horrendous, absolutely horrendous, and the home ports are even bloody worse, so avoid at all costs. Watch the video obviously, but yeah, listen, the main point of making this waffle tonight is I just want to make everybody aware of excuse me, a 12-hour live stream that we're going to be doing on Sunday, November the 5th, bonfire night. So rather than waste money on fireworks and getting soaked to the skin, get a nice comfy seat, get your iPad, whatever, big 85-inch TV, PC, laptop, I don't give a shit. Tune in, watch it, support it if you can. I mean, I did a live stream about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was quite a long time, and it was great. We raised £1,000 for charity on the nose. Really good. It was a great day. Had lots of really epic people coming along and joining us. And over the last sort of preceding 3-4 years, people have been saying to me, when are you going to do another live stream, like 12-hour live stream? And you know, I always knew that I would do another at some point, but it's finding that time when you've got time and you know, you need to try and arrange things. So a few weeks ago, I just thought, you know what, life is so short. You know, life can be sniffed out in a heartbeat. I witnessed that way too often, and you know, don't put things off. If you've got something you want to do, don't keep putting off. Do it, plan it, get it in your diary and do it, because you never know. You know, you might not be in the right frame of mind, you might not have money, you might be extremely ill. So if you've got something you really want to do, try and do it, folks, honestly. And so I thought to myself, right, you know what, let's get it planned. So I just looked at my diary, I picked a date which was like at that point, I don't know, 8 weeks away. Thought, right, there we go, Sunday the 5th of November, get it done. And a few people were saying to me, you know, are you going to try and go through your little red book of sort of retro gaming celebrities? I hate that word, but I'm going to call these guys celebrities, because they're celebrities to you and I, to all the nerds like myself who enjoyed games back in the day. These guys are the reason I'm sitting recording this right now, because I found video games and it never really left me. So I thought to myself, I couldn't be bothered with the hassle of trying to kind of get people, and you know, I don't like pestering people for things. But then, was it last week, I just thought to myself, you know what, I'll ping out a few messages to a few guys that I know. Did that, and I have to say the response has been phenomenal. Out of the 12, I think, 13 people I think it is, that I've asked to take part, 10 or 11 have agreed to do it. One guy, Dan Malone, ex Palace Software and Bitmap Brothers, absolutely top bloke. Dan sadly couldn't make it. He did say he was going to come along, but he's got personal things he needs to deal with. So if you're watching this, Dan, you know, I hope everything works out for you. So Dan couldn't make it. A couple of people never, it's not even so much they never responded to my message. They've never actually read it. You know, I tend to use Facebook for these things because it's the only way you can find people. So anyway, yeah, we've got 10 people now. Let me just have a quick look. What I did was last night, I in fact thanks to one of my friends, Nick Sherman, who if you do tune into the stream, you will get to see quite a bit of Nick. He very, very kindly came up with a, what do you call it? A poster that I could use to kind of advertise this. So yeah, what I should maybe do, in fact I'll probably forget, I'm going to attempt to remember to put it overlay it right now, but I'll probably forget. So if I do forget, go to my Facebook page and you'll see. So yeah, the 12-hour charity stream, it says it's going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, first up, we have Nick Sherman of Arlosoft. At 9:15, we've got Andy Walker of Taskset Software. Now, if you don't know who Andy Walker is, Andy wrote my favourite Commodore 64 game of all time, Super Pipeline and Super Pipeline 2. Enough said. 10 o'clock, I've got the lads from the Ted Dabney Experience. My mate Tony Temple, Paul Drury and Richard May. Now, I don't think Richard will be able to make it, but Tony and Paul said they're definitely going to come along. So these guys have got an absolutely fantastic podcast. It delves into the real early pioneers of the video game industry. They talk to all these luminaries like Nolan Bushnell, and in fact I'd spoken to Nolan Bushnell. You know, I can't remember actually. I don't think they have. If they have, I do apologise, Tony. But they were interviewing Eugene Jarvis, all the real early guys from the industry. Absolutely phenomenal podcast. Sean Southern, he will be along at 10:45. 11:30. In fact, I've got this wrong. Richard Leinfeldner. Richard has asked me to rejig. So Richard's going to be along at 10 o'clock, and then the Ted Dabney guys are going to be along at 11:45. 12. I can hardly even read my own writing. 12:15. We've got the Video Gaming's Daniel Craig, aka Mike Tucker from Bitmap Bureau. If you don't know who Mike is, he looks after, owns Bitmap Bureau. They've put out games, Xeno Crisis, which is an absolutely phenomenal sort of Robotron arcade, Smash TV clone for every system going, Mega Drive, Switch, Neo Geo, you name it, plus other games. So Mike's coming along to catch up with us. At 1 o'clock we have a special, we have a Sid Show special with a man who, if you've watched my channel for a number of years, you'll know this man very, very well. Lacosa will be back for a Sid Show, and this time we're going to be getting joined with Dale Boy. Now, incidentally, Dale will be my co-pilot. He will be my Sally James to me being Chris Tarrant of Tiswas. Yeah, apologies about getting that thought in your head there, but yeah, Dale's going to be, he's going to be on, he'll be there for most of it, just kind of looking after things, keeping things ticking over. At 2:30, we've got Gary Penn. Now, if you're a C64 man, you know exactly who Gary is. Gary was one of the original Zap 64 reviewers. He went on to edit the magazine, and he's been in the industry for a long time. I've never actually managed to meet Gary before. It's not been through lack of trying, but Gary loves this whole scene, and he's probably one of the most passionate guys that's involved in this scene. So I'm really, really proud and grateful to have Gary taking part. 4 o'clock, Mr. Football Manager himself, Kevin the Beard Toms. What else can I say? 5 o'clock, Martin Brown of Team 17. Wirham's arcade pool. Project X, enough said. At 5:30 we have the Zap Challenge with Polamos. The Polamos is an extremely good video games player. In fact, he actually held the world record for Yar Kung Fu and MAME, and also Kung Fu Master. So, you know, Paul's a good player. I, on the other hand, are pretty shit. Now, we've picked a game, and Paul and I are going to play 3 games each and try and get the best score we can in 5 minutes. And I'm going to see if I can defeat him. I did beat him in the last stream at a game called Galaxy. So that's going to be a bit of fun. 6:15, we've got Bill Harbison. Bill's a legend. You know, Chase HQ in the Spectrum, anybody? Robocop in the Spectrum. He did all the graphics of these games, so I'm delighted to have a fellow Scotsman Bill along at 6:15. And finally at 7 o'clock we've got John here, Sensible Software. Enough said. And just another little part, in the morning when Nick Sherman joins us, Nick has been squirreling, is that a word? Squirreling away, yeah. Working, we'll just say working on a brand new arcade conversion for the Commodore 64. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I know some of the regulars will know what it is, but you know, it's an arcade conversion, and Nick, going by his previous games that he's coded for the C64, this will probably be the definitive version of this game. He is going to be giving me an exclusive look at it in the live stream. I'm going to get to play it. The game will be available to download. Now, one thing I've completely omitted to say is, apart from it being great fun, and trust me, you know, I count all these gaming events like Playback Pool and, you know, Revival and all these sort of what do you call it, shows, whilst they're really, really good, I don't think they have got the guests that I've managed to get for this thing. I'm chuffed to bits to have all these brilliant people, you know, a great collection of people. Nick has, what was I going to say? Yeah, anyway, I've completely lost my train of thought. Nick is coding, he's coding this game, and he's going to be giving us an exclusive. Yeah, that's it. I've gone back again. I remembered what I'm talking about. Whilst it's going to be great fun, there is a more serious side to the stream, and we're going to raise money for 2 charities. One is a local community in the area that I grew up, and it's only about a couple of miles from where I live now. It's called Spark, and it is a community hub to basically knock down the barriers of isolation and loneliness, because, you know, there are a lot of people in this world, and, you know, the UK, who don't have anybody. They may have agoraphobia, they may not want to mix with people, they may have mental issues, whatever, depression. This is a community centre that opens its arms to these people. It's a place that people can come along, get a cup of tea, get a game of pool, listen to some music, dance, play video games, or just have a wee chat over a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit. I've been in it a couple of times. I did raise, in the last stream collectively we gave them about 330 quid, and honestly, when I went to hand the money over, it was like I'd raised £1 million for them. They could not thank me enough. And you know, there's lots of big charities out there, Macmillan Cancer, Heart Foundation, Cancer Research. These are all phenomenal causes, but these charities do get a lot of funding. the smaller charities that you get in your local community, they don't get the same funding and they do struggle for money. So if we can raise 50 quid, 100 quid to give to this Spark, it'll be phenomenal. You guys are going to really make a difference. And the second one is a charity. It's through in Stirling, and it's a friend of my girlfriend who actually runs it. And what these guys do is they provide a safe haven and counselling for women who have been abused, who've been in abusive relationships, whether it was physical, whether it was mental. So this charity gives these women a place to come where they can befriend other people. They get to do various activities and just, you know, get the counselling and help they need to become empowered and to move on. So, you know, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. You know, these charities are phenomenal. So that's the serious side to this live stream, guys. So what we're hoping for is people that are going to watch it will bung us a couple of quid. You know what I mean? 50 pence, £1, £5, whatever you want to give. I'm going to be probably taking donations directly to my bank account. Now the reason for that is I don't think there is any online way of people donating without having to pay a sort of fee. You've got all your Just Giving, they take a fee. You've got GoFundMe, again they take a fee. So last year or 4 years ago, people were happy to give me money to my PayPal account, transfer it to my bank, and then, you know, excuse me, I just withdraw the cash. I withdraw cold hard cash and I physically take it down and hand the money over. When I do that, I'll be sharing pictures and that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's how I'm planning to do it. So yeah, 2 phenomenal causes. Now getting back to Nick Sherman, Nick has coded this game, and what we're going to ask is, if you want to download the game, would you consider making a donation? And every single penny, there's not one penny that's going to be retained by anybody taking part in this live stream. Nobody is getting paid. It's all getting done out of the goodness of people's hearts. Every single penny that's raised on the day and after will be getting split 50-50 between these 2 really good charities. So Nick, we're going to ask for people to donate. If you download the game, you don't have to. If you want to download it for nothing, that's absolutely fine. There's no pressure, because we know how tough things are at the moment. But if you want to make a donation, great. And another interesting thing, which I just thought would be a wee bit good fun, there are going to be 5 high score initials in this game, which I'm not going to tell you. Now what we thought is, why don't we ask people to pay a sum of money to get their name hard coded into the game. So we'll announce all that, we'll talk about it when the live stream actually takes place. So that's the plan. And furthermore, if that's not enough, Nick is also going to attempt to code a game in 12 hours. It's probably going to be an arcade conversion of some sort. Again, it will be announced at the start of the stream, and what we're going to do is we will join Nick in between guests. Nick can share the screen, let us know where he is. So think Andrew Braybrook, Diary of Paradroid. It's going to be like that, but it's going to be, he's got 12 hours to do it, and we'll jump in as and when, see how he's getting on. So, you know, massive thanks to Nick for doing that. It's just absolutely awesome. I'm stupidly excited about it. What I would ask, and I appreciate it guys, if you could share this to all your friends. If you're a member of a Commodore 64 forum, please share this. Share the poster. You know, I want this to get out to as many people as possible, because even forgetting the charity side of things, if I was a retro gamer, I would absolutely want to watch this, because where else do you get a collection of these guys in one video? You know, seriously. There's also one person who I'm trying to convince to take part. To be fair, I only told him today. I don't know whether it's going to come to anything. If it does, we will probably extend the stream beyond 12 hours just to fit this person in. But that's all I'm going to say. If I do get him in, I will be updating the posts as well. So that's it. get your date in your diary, Sunday the 5th of November, 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's going to be epic. If you're a video gamer that likes old games, you're going to love this. And if it can raise a few quid for these two great charities, then, you know, all the better. So, right, listen, I'm just going to quickly touch on, I don't know if I've got any questions from last week's Friday Waffle. Dave Conley, hey, good to see this still going. Interestingly, I've noticed that Jean-Michel Jarre appears to be safe for YouTube. I don't want to jinx the whole thing, but I've played a lot of Jarre and rather freakishly I haven't had any copyright strikes for it. Hail the Jarre. There are a few artists that are instant copyright strikers. Anything by the Doors, Eagles or Rush is an instant copyright strike. I think Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd are strikers too. James Brown appears to be cool, especially if it's one of his live Soul Train performances. Yeah, when I did the Friday Waffle last week, I was playing music and what have you, so you know, as long as it doesn't take my channel down, I'm fine with that. Wee Bob Art watching on the replay, hope you got on well with the test. All the best for the week ahead and looking forward to the Nice and Nasty podcast, as the last one was really great to listen and sing along to. Yeah, you'll notice a return of the young pretender, Mr. Lucosa. As I mentioned in the Nice and Nasty podcast, some of my favourite videos that I've done on YouTube has had Lucosa in it. I just think it's entertaining, and I'm not the only person to say that, you know. Brilliant. So, you know, hopefully Lucosa is going to take part in the live stream. Obviously, everything that I've said about the live stream, people have real lives. At the end of the day, it's just a bit of fun. So it may change, but you're not getting charged to watch it, so don't complain. Right, and my good mate Steve, gaming since the 1970s. That was a great live waffle, mate. Thank you. Hope you didn't get into trouble for playing music. It was really good. Now I have two questions for you. What is your favourite Atari arcade game and why? Oh, bloody hell. I think, of course it could possibly change if you ask me tomorrow. I think my favourite Atari game would have to be, it would probably be Asteroids. Apart from it looking sublime with the vectors, etc., it's a classic game. It's not aged at all, probably because of the vector graphics. It's got epic sound. The bass, you know, in that game is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of classic games. You know, Missile Command. I do like Missile Command. You've got to play it in arcade with a proper trackball. But yeah, I mean, people would say, Star Wars. Star Wars is a phenomenal game, but I think I'm going to go for Asteroids. Number two, I honestly believe films were better before CGI took over. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, and 10 being totally barking, just how insane am I for thinking that? Take care, mate. Listen, Steve, I am 100% with you. I was sitting watching. I treated myself to a subwoofer and sort of surround the sound system and soundbar, and it's opened up me wanting to watch films again because I've got proper surround the sound. Really, really good. And I was watching just before I started recording this. Actually, I wanted to see what the start of Star Wars sounded like when the big kind of battle cruiser comes on and you hear the sound coming from behind. And you know what? Back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, you would go to see a film and you would come out and say, "Oh, that was great. What do you think of the special effects?" And you would talk about it. I mean, apparently Star Wars was virtually little cardboard models. And yet it still looks phenomenal. Nowadays, virtually every film is CGI, and you never ever, at least I don't, you don't come away from the cinema thinking, oh, weren't the special effects incredible? It's just, we've become so blasé. Even adverts for baked beans have like CGI graphics now. So I'm completely with you, Steve. That's a number. That's an absolute number one. I agree with you 100%. I've said that all along. I think, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. I think CGI has, it's not killed films. It's killed films a lot for me. I don't get excited about going to see films anymore. I mean, can you remember? And I mean, I know this was the start of it, but Jurassic Park, the first time we saw that, here was dinosaurs, and I know I'm completely contradicting what I've just said, because Jurassic Park was probably one of the first kind of CGI films, and it was phenomenal. But yeah, forget I even said that. But yeah, things like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and you know, all the James Bond films, and you know, it was models and whatever. Now it's all CGI, and yeah, 100% with you, Steve. So listen, mate, thanks very much to all the support that you give me. It's massively appreciated. It really, really is. And two to go. Don't know if there's any questions. Yeah, Lactobacillus Prime, my good mate Mark. Hi Alan, good to see another Friday Waffle. I'm watching this after the fact, and then Jean-Michel Jarre sort of drowned your voice out. Yeah, I do apologise. The problem I've got is OBS, whilst it's a great bit of software, you've any new thing that you do, whether it's music or a video file or a game, you've got to make sure you got the sound balance right, and the only way to do that is to do a little test recording. Now, I'm totally unprepared with these things, so you don't really know what it's like unless you actually listen to it back. So I do apologise for that one, Mark. But it's probably better to listen to Jean-Michel Jarre than listen to me rabbit a lot of nonsense. To comment on what you were saying in the beginning of the video, I think real hardware is nice, but there is nothing wrong with emulation or using FPGA. It's almost like the old Playground Wars that I never partook in, as I like to use all systems. Why limit yourself? People who show too large and then, superiority mentality can be a little tiring in my experience. Yeah, I was going on about people who boast about, I only use real hardware, blah, 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 blah. Fuck off. I mean, and I know I've got a couple of friends, Mad Commodore and the Shadows knows, they use real hardware, but they don't use it as some kind of boasting, right? They merely say we do record on real hardware, but some people use that as some kind of boast, and I can't be bothered with that at all. I see you've been using the Mister quite a bit. Have you been keeping up to date with the Nintendo 64 and Sega Saturn core development? I have, Mark, and yeah, I was delighted to see that both cores are now available. When you do the update all, it downloads them, and it's epic. I'm trying to sell my Sega Saturn now because I have no use for it. I've got it on the Mister. What do you think are the best cores in the system, and what do you use the system most for? Best cores, you know what, there's not a bad core. There is not a bad core, because every core is just like the computer. You switch the computer on, but the one that I think is impressive, it's not so much the core that's impressive, it's the image that somebody's written, and that's the Amiga one. Somebody has very cleverly pulled together virtually every game you could possibly imagine, every demo, you name it, it's there, it's great, it's a brilliant, you switch it on, boof, every game in front of you. But you know, every core is phenomenal. The ones I play the most, probably the Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga, and obviously I use it, I do use it for playing games, but primarily I use it when I'm streaming, and it's really changed how I stream. I think, and hopefully I'm not wrong with saying this, I think my videos are better quality now because I'm not pissing about trying to get emulators working, or you know, trying to get the screen bigger, because some of these emulators would run in little postage stamp size screens. So hopefully it's made a difference to my videos. Have you heard about the new Mars FPGA system on the horizon? As a more powerful FPGA but there's a lot of hype surrounding it. Would you consider getting one of those if more facts about it are known? Now, I had heard a little bird mentioned to me about a new sort of mister type thing, and it's going to be extremely powerful. Now, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, Mark. Am I interested in getting one? Of course I am, but here's the thing. These systems, you know, the current mister supports every system that I want it to support. All the 8-bits, the 16-bit machines, all the games, the ROMs, call it whatever you want, are small. You can put in SD cards. If you get a machine that can support, I mean, even things like the Sega Saturn, it's not DVDs, it's CDs, so we can get away with that, you know, with fast broadband and, like, you know, really large like storage capacity. Downloading images of CDs is all right. But can you imagine if this thing supported, I don't know, the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4? The games would be phenomenal. They would be like 60 gig in size or more. Some of these games now come in I don't know what they are, Blu-ray discs, whatever it is. So the practicality of actually running software in these things becomes a problem. So am I bothered about it? No. Would I get one? Of course I would. But I'm really, if it takes 10 years to come out, doesn't bother me in the slightest. So listen, Mark, thanks very much. And finally, let's have a wee go. I've got a message from Gans Teeth. We've probably all owned real hardware at some point, so I don't know why people seem to think it still gives them some sort of status. I sometimes play in real hardware and sometimes on emulators. No shifts, no shits given either way. Pretty much what I think, Gans Teeth. So, brilliant. So listen, thank you very much for everybody that's commented. Like I said, I will keep doing these waffles as long as I've got stuff to talk about. Before I go, I want to give 2 shout outs to 2 video game channels. The first one is a young man, a fellow Scotsman. Now, I've given him shout outs on numerous occasions. He's had more channels than I've had hot dinners. His channels tend to not last long and they disappear and he comes back. But you know what? He is such a clever guy. He's got an incredibly witty sense of humour. Think kind of Monty Python. He does this incredible kind of animations in his videos. His videos are really well put together. I mean, he did some animations for me back in the day, before I grew a beard and that kind of stuff. But he's so talented, and he's got a new YouTube channel out again. I will put a link down below, and it's, you know what, it's absolutely criminal how few people have subscribed to him and even know he exists. It really is, and I'm not just saying that because he's like a friend, whatever. His sense of humour is brilliant. It might not be for everybody. I mean, Monty Python wasn't for everybody. But he's incredibly talented. He really is, and I want people to go and look at his stuff and support this guy. He's brilliant. I really think he's fantastic. So yeah, and his name's Swifto, by the way. I completely forgot to say that. And the second channel I want to give a shout out to, I've got there's a guy, Jamie, who was one of my first subscribers. He's been supporting my channel for a long time, you know, 11 years, whatever. He comes and goes. I mean, I'll not see him for months and then he'll come back. But he contacted me a couple of weeks ago asking if he could, he said he'd love to be on the Nice and Nasty podcast. And he put a link to his video channel, his YouTube channel. Now, Jamie plays classical guitar for some video game tunes. And there's one, it's a Last Ninja tune, and it is phenomenal. My jaw hit the floor when I heard it. This guy is so talented. He plays the guitar to other video games, Again, I'm just conscious this is going to run out of batteries. I can see the battery flashing, so I better be really quick. I'm going to put a link to Jamie's channel down below and Swifto's. Please go and check these channels out. If you like them, don't smash the subscribe button. Subscribe to them, watch them, put some comments, give these guys a bit of support. I think they're brilliant. I really do. I don't give many shout outs these days, but these are two channels that I've been watching. I think they're phenomenal. So I'm going to get going, guys, before the battery runs out. Get it in your diary. Sunday the 5th of November, 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's going to be an absolute blast. I do appreciate everybody tries to share this wherever they can, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on forums that are on. If you're on any retro gamer type forum, please let people know, because I think people are going to enjoy it, and hopefully we'll raise some cash in the process. So I'm going to get going, folks. I hope you have a great weekend. I will hopefully be along Sunday 7 o'clock till 9 for some more shits and giggles. And as always, folks, thank you very much for watching.